here to rate the latest rumours. The transfer rater is all powered up. We've got 5 stories to bring you. Paul Mariner's going to talk us through to see if these would be good ideas or not for the players and clubs in question.
Is this a misprint?
Alberto Moreno, yes, it is to Barcelona. Apparently he's on the shortlist for left-back cover for Jordi Alba.
Well, that's all he's going to be. Why didn't they keep, didn't you? I mean, they sent him to Everton for 20-odd million. OK, fine. But why? I mean, this is such a downgrade. For Moreno, this is a fantastic move if it comes off. Is it a good move for Barcelona? No. They've got to hope and pray that Alba stays fit and robust and healthy all season.
To achieve what they want to achieve.
Exactly.
David De Gea, I don't know why he's on this list, but he is
I've
on
got
this
no
list
idea.
to leave Manchester United in January?
Well, if he was, for me, if he was ever going to leave, it would be the last summer gone. I just don't understand this. You know, Courtois at Real Madrid, sitting on his backside. You know, everybody else seems to be fairly well set with the keepers. I just can't see it. I just cannot see this. So I say it's a miss.
OK. Jadon Sancho, now in the England squad. To Chelsea, having helped Borussia Dortmund to the top of the league.
Look, I like him. I think this kid, to go overseas and, you know, really put his mark on the club, to be perfectly honest. You know, when you see him, he's good on the dribble. When he's on the dribble, he sees the pass. He likes an assist, likes a nice goal. He can finish when he gets in. Look, his future is very, very bright. But it's sort of similar to other young players. If you're in a nice situation, just learn your trade, you know, maybe another year or two. That's a big move from Dortmund to Chelsea, who are actually playing okay. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say not at the moment, but he's definitely got a future, that boy.
Maybe this boy down here has something to say about that in terms of his move. Before we get to Eden Hazard, though, Alessio Romagnoli to Manchester United. This is the AC Milan Italian international centre-half.
I like him. I like him a lot. But the problem is, when you have a player like Romagnoli going into United, who's he going to play with? He needs somebody alongside him to solidify that defence. That's what Manchester United have not got. They haven't got 2 central defenders that can shore everything up. You know, they've got the protection in front, but he needs to have somebody alongside. So they need to get 2. If they're going to get him in, get another one. So
a more experienced player.
A more experienced player. You know, if it was Van Dijk and him, thank you very much indeed. Unbelievable. But it's not. I say for United, yes, this is a fantastic move. He's a good player. And for the kid, yeah, I like it.
But you want one more. Eden Hazard to Real Madrid from Chelsea.
Look, I don't know anything about this. I see Eden Hazard playing at Southampton at the weekend. He's absolutely dynamite. He's playing with a smile on his face. We haven't seen that too much of him over recent years, especially under Conte, you know, last year. I think there's already a deal in place here. I think that Sarri has said to him, look, give me your best, give me 1 year, and then you can get your move. There's 2 years left on his contract. It's a
come the summer.
Come the summer. It's a perfect time to go. The club can cash in, get, you know, shedfuls of money. Great move for him. He wants it. He's singing the praise of Real Madrid in the press, and it's a. I say it's a hit.
You think
he wants to go there,
and it's a done deal.
Chelsea fans don't want to hear it.
Yep.
Because he's obviously head and shoulders and waist above anything they've got. He's a fantastic player. But the player wants to move on. And he's going to be 28, I think, in the summer. So it's a perfect time for him to go.
OK. We'll see what happens with all of these moves, potential moves in the offing. Eden Hazard, though, to Real Madrid. Paul thinks it might well be in the offing already.
Who would you vote for?
Lionel Messi, of course. Is there really a question that he's the best player of the world? Not for me. I think I've said this before on the show. Even if he doesn't kick a ball all year, he is still the best player of the world right now on this planet. And I don't think there's any argument about it, at least not in my head.
Any argument in studio here?
We've got a list.
Oh, it's a short list.
Oh, there's a list.
Have we got a refresher?
Mario Mandzukic is on it. Oh. I mean, there's no shortage of options if you want to take a look at the list.
I'm going for Mbappe.
Really?
I think, have you looked at what he's done this year? I mean, the League Cup, he won the French Cup, he won the World Cup, he won the.
Are you going to throw
League Cup. Hang on a minute, cool. You asked me who I'm backing Mbappe. 123 matches, 62 goals, 24 games for France, 12 goals. Scored in the World Cup. Him and Pelé, only teenagers to do it. Pelé got 2, he got 1 in the final. He's having the most incredible year that any man could have. I think it's a joy to watch, and he plays the game in the right way.
I don't mind Mbappe, and if I were to pick one from France, it would not be Antoine Griezmann, it would be Kylian Mbappe because he was the different player in the World Cup. He was the guy that, if you're watching France, you pay attention to. But I agree with Raf. I would say it's Lionel Messi. And the stats paint a picture as to what Lionel Messi means to Barcelona, but it's the consistency, it's his ability to do it year after year, and then you just look at the productivity and what he does, and his performances individually, sometimes they are evaluated based on his standard, which unfairly puts him in a position where maybe he comes up short of his standard and yet is above everybody else's standard. Lionel Messi continues to be the best player in the world.
I mean, Mbappe would be, I mean, what a shot in the arm it would be for a teenager, you know, but, you know, with a terrific, 10, 15 years ahead of him, already a world-class operator, already playing like a guy in his mid-20s. That's how mature he is. And I wouldn't have a problem with that because, as Paul said, and you've clearly been on the computer.
I have.
He's
Research computer.
His numbers stack up. However, there's no doubt Messi is the best player in the world. It's not his fault that, as a team, Barcelona capitulated against Roma in the Champions League. It's not his fault that under Sampaoli, Argentina, and some will say, well, he was messing behind the scenes and he was trying to do this. It's not his fault, per se, that Argentina were a shambles at the World Cup. You cannot control all of these things. They're out with one man's control. So a lot of people will make that argument, and we've heard it before. Well, he hasn't won the World Cup. Well, he hasn't done this. Well, they didn't win the Champions League this year. That's really not what we're talking about here. We're talking about individuals. And there is an individual, as he showed again last week in the Champions League at Wembley, he's just in a different stratosphere.
According to the bookmakers, the guy who's going to win it hasn't even been named yet on this panel. Luka Modric. Raf, what do you think? Is Modric going to end up winning this?
I think Modric gets a lot of sort of political votes for people who are a little bit fed up with Messi, Ronaldo, who want to reward Croatia as a team. They're looking for him as a figurehead, as a captain, as a guy who, through his tirelessness and ability, really dragged Croatia maybe a little bit further than they should have done. But having said all that, I don't think he is a better footballer than Lionel Messi. I don't think they're quite in the same bracket, and I think it'd be slightly disingenuous to make the argument, yes, he's had a lot of impact, yes, he's done really well for his country, for Real Madrid less so, I would say, but I still don't see how he can be perceived as a better footballer than Lionel Messi in 2018.
Ale, Toronto FC are the reigning MLS Cup champions. They were also my pick to win MLS Cup this year.
Uh-oh.
And guess what they're not doing?
They're not in the playoffs?
Not in the playoffs. Officially eliminated from playoff contention this past weekend. Simply put, what went wrong?
It's not just one thing that went wrong for Toronto FC, but let's start at the very beginning. CONCACAF Champions League. They put everything in that organization into winning that tournament. And in doing so, they were ignoring MLS. And it was clear. It was blatant. It's, look, we're going to try to go after this. And I didn't criticize them back then, so I'm not going to criticize them now. It would be unfair to do so. That was their priority. That's how they drove the bus. That's what they wanted to do. That was their preparation. Okay, that didn't happen. So mentally exhausted, worn out, physically exhausted and worn out. And oh, by the way, very slow start to the season in Major League Soccer. So then, now you have to chase points. When you try to chase those points, okay, the mentality was about, we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Well, it's okay for you and I to think that here.
I did think that.
Well, in the comforts of our studio or watching at home or wherever we may be. But the problem that they were thinking about that inside that locker room then creates issues. Because now, those points that you're chasing were not coming as easily as you thought they would come. The other issue is injuries happen. So now you're chasing points. You didn't win CONCACAF Champions League. Now you have injuries. And so the early struggles that were supposed to be just early struggles became summer struggles. What that does for a team that understands they're having difficulty in chasing points, they're having difficulties getting results, they have no consistency in the lineup, they have no continuity as to who's going to be out on the field, is the fact that now those expectations that were very high for you and for most people coming into this year, well, Toronto was never going to meet those expectations. And that realization inside the locker room, among big names and big egos and big expectations, is going to create a little bit of finger pointing. And it creates a situation where there has been rumors and speculation that the situation in the locker room has broken down a bit for Toronto FC. Now, we don't know if that's the case or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's only natural that if you think you're going to reach here and you're going to only reach in here, there's a lot of people that's going to start saying, well, it's you, it's you, it's you. Usually, that breaks a locker room apart. It fractures a team, and you see that in the performances put on the field. This team was never really together in MLS play. They were together for CONCACAF Champions League. That didn't happen, and eventually, all those fractures starting appearing because success was not coming as easily as they thought it would.
You think we're coming to the end of an era here with TFC? Josie Altidore is talking about maybe this is the end of his time in Toronto. Sebastian Giovinco is on the last year of his contract. Is this the beginning of the end?
This is what happens when a successful team has those incredibly high expectations. Let's not forget what the conversation was finishing MLS Cup last year. This is the best MLS team ever.
Over a single season, you could argue.
Well, fine. And that was the conversation. And the future, and how deep this team is, and what this team is going to be able to do if they stay together. Now, spin it a year later, and we're talking about, are they going to break apart? If that's the case, if that's the conversation we're having now, it is more confirmation that things behind closed door were not as smooth as we would have thought they would have been for a defending champion. And those things are coming to fruition now because of the struggles for Toronto FC. It's disappointing to see. This is a talented team, and it was a talented group, and they did a lot of great things last season. They thought that those things would translate into success this year, and it just didn't happen. You got to go still out and play the game. And when they played the game, they were not good enough to get the points when they needed those points.
As we know, things can change in a hurry in Major League Soccer. No better example of that than what happened to TFC this season. All right, it's great to have you with us here on...
Do you know, you were asking me, this is a separate conversation, you were asking me about Stevie Nicholls' golf attire.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, because you told me he doesn't dress appropriately for golf, right?
Or anything.
He doesn't dress appropriately for TV.
You gotta get him this Indochino deal. No.
And that's a good moment.
The Titleist hat looks golfy.
And then that's it.
You're right. The made-to-measure clothing is a little baggy there.
Now,
you want to show the camera?
Did you get a close-up of that? Because that is horrific. It is so bad.
private golf club.
You just can't take him anywhere.
That's the same shirt he wore last night on the ESPN FC.
Yeah, it doesn't do it justice, though.
It doesn't do it justice because at this point in proceedings, he's taken the large wool sweater off.
The thickest wool sweater you can think of, the itchy kind.
Itchy kind with the round neck. He's got no place in the golf course. He's now taken this off.
What was the temperature today?
It was close to 80 degrees. So he's taken this off. Right. So first things first, I said, why are you wearing like a normal check shirt? And he said, well, I thought it was going to be cold.
He's from Scotland.
Anyway, when he took the sweater off, that check shirt that I showed you was full length with the sleeves down here, and the bottoms was hanging out the trousers.
Yeah.
It was a right state.
Again, the picture doesn't do it justice. He took a swing, and then the shirt came out on the one side, and it's just hanging up. And then you see the sweater. I cannot begin to tell you how thick this wool sweater is. I'm telling you. Something special, Stevie Nicol.
Yeah.
One of a kind.
Can we bosh in the thick sweater now?
Yeah, there's something to look good, play good. I've heard that frequently.
Yeah, no.
No.
He played well. He played
Yes.
well. Yes, it's just, it's not pretty. It's
And
not pretty.
it was almost 80 degrees today, and he's wearing that.
Now,
stuff.
I let you.
Yeah, that was a video I took, but I'm not going to play the video.
No, dangerous. Too
There
dangerous.
may have been some language in the background.
If there's anybody to blame for this, Paul, I feel like you're partially responsible.
Listen.
He's your boy. He's your guy.
He is my boy. So Craig sent me a photograph today, right? That's exactly what you just said. I was roaring with laughter because I know this lad so well. I've actually given him. My son works for the European tour, right? He gets stuff. He loves his Uncle Steve. He sends me stuff, and I give it to Stevie. You know, the normal polo stuff. He never wears it. I don't understand it.
Sorry, I would just divert.
That's Steve Nicol, by the way, we're talking about. He's a one-off, that kid.
Yeah.
Let's get to the questions.
You keep
here.
talking. I'm just going to try and
Next
find more
time.
photos.
Yeah. keep digging in the phone. This is all right. See why this question was submitted today. I'm sure this is not going to go well for me. Our first question: who is your preferred anchor to work with on ESPN?
Well,
FC?
I'll take this one. So it's not Seb. Clearly, it's not Seb. Can I tell you that? I've told you this story before, though, Paul, right?
I want to hear it again.
He's not good for my health.
What's that? Why is
The
that?
first time we worked together, and apparently he's very fiery about just about any subject.
I'm so calm. I don't know what you're talking about.
And he just went
US
crazy, whatever, argument, this and that and the other. I woke up the next day and I had a headache and I was throwing up and also, and I didn't have any drinks. I wasn't sick before I spoke to him. So at that point I realized simply he's not good for my health. And I've stayed away since then.
I think it's in your contract. There's only a limited amount of days we can work together, right?
No, all I'm saying is that I try to stay away. And so therefore, by default, I take Dan Thomas.
I actually don't. I don't mind because you and Dan are equally as easy to wind up. You know,
But we're not the same height. I want that.
So
on
No,
the
you're
record.
smaller. You're smaller.
No.
You're shorter.
We need to get the measurements on that, boys.
Yeah, you and Dan.
Tell you what, that's a close one.
You and Dan are easy to wind up. However, the Space Cadet, who is the other presenter, is that? Have you worked that out yet?
Yes.
Why not? There's
I
a
have.
who?
I'm not telling you.
No. If you're gonna name names, you better name them.
We have an anchor. Sorry, I was using the British term there, presenter. We have an anchor who
He's a wonderful human being.
Stevie and I may have. I don't know if he knows this, but we call him the Cadet, Adrian Healy,
And what's the reason for the cadet then?
because he's in a different planet.
He's a lovely lad, though.
The lights are on, but nobody's in.
If Adrian's on another planet, where is Max Bretos?
Oh, Max is the other planet. Do you know when Max used to do before he moved on to Sports Centre full time and then moved back to LA? When he used to do this, a couple of times a week at least? Boy. We'd be like, oh dear.
They would say, okay, so we're going to go to Paul on Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right? And we started talking about Arsenal, and it was Max's turn to tell Paul to have a go. And he was like, how about Arsenal, Craig? What?
Do you know the thing with Max? Do you know at the end of every show, not every show, do you know the amount of times he wrapped up a show and walked off past the gym?
That was his move.
Like, that was his, and then we were like, Max, that stick's getting a bit old now. And he just kept doing it. He's a character, the boy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite people to be on the road with.
Whoa.
Sir Ted Lasso
Well, it's
wants
funny,
to know.
he's not said that about you.
No, well,
Well,
you do.
neither have I.
You do. Let's be honest.
Max on the road. Max, Herc, and Sebi on the road.
No. I don't. I'm banned from the podcast.
Sir Ted.
Are you? Is this is your 2 on 3?
2 on 3. Look, you even said it with.
Yeah, 3 on 2. 3 for 2. Buy one, get one tree.
Yeah.
Tree.
That's it. Just
2
about.
on 3, is it still going or has it been biffed already?
Do you know what?
Spanish Archer.
You know, we're doing an episode tomorrow. Do you want to maybe join us?
Well, funny enough, I'm in tomorrow.
Great. You know,
But
we're a flexible
What-
lot.
what
When
you
can you
doing?
join us? The coaching surge for the Mexican national team.
Oh.
The players that have been called in for the
Perfect for you,
upcoming matches.
Tell you what, I'm all over that.
Yeah.
I'll even come in wearing Stevie's Will jumper, his Will sweater and his check shirt. Sorry.
All right. This next question.
Are you doing one tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I'm serious. We're doing one tomorrow, and then I think next Wednesday as well. Sir Ted Lasso wants to know: do players like these international breaks during the middle of their club seasons?
I hated them.
Why?
Well, I hated international friendlies. Full stop. Because you just couldn't get up for them like you could the qualifiers. You just couldn't. And I think
that's because it was Scotland.
But now you got the League of Nations. You got the League of Nations.
No, you're wrong.
What?
You have to sort that.
Yeah, Nations
You could get in
League,
trouble there for
right?
that.
League of Nations.
League of Nations is.
Oh,
It's the Nations League.
all right. Hey,
It's live on
my
ESPN.
bad. Hey, my bad.
I didn't like them. I don't like.
I'm the opposite of Craig. I used to love going to the national team. We had a great bunch of lads. Love
Yeah.
meeting up with them. Yeah.
Real
No, I
quick,
didn't mind not. I didn't mind meeting up with the lads. I hated the games when it wasn't
Somewhat on it.
when there wasn't something on the line.
Fair dues.
I can respect that. Nick wants to know, Paul.
Well, I wasn't
which-
asking for your respect.
I'll
I'll come down.
I mean, I can understand.
I'll
that.
come down and
You
respect
know you
your,
already have my
your
respect.
3 on buy one get one free tomorrow.
Buy one tree.
Oh, the incessant mocking just.
Hey, that's funny, right?
You love it.
Good. It was. It was
You love it. You love it.
You know it.
You love it.
So you're doing
I
a
know, and
podcast.
he loves it.
You're doing a podcast with a
Why did they
guy.
even give me questions?
Well, ask him then.
You're doing a podcast with a guy that won't let you on his podcast.
His own podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just.
You get the leftovers.
My stock continues to drop. You know what? There are other.
When was it high?
There are other questions, but I gotta.
No, well,
just,
that's good. I'm intrigued.
no. My ego's just taking too much of a beating here on this extra.
Oh, please.
come on.
You're giving up?
What?
I'm punting.
Mommy!
Wow. Didn't expect that. Dan is my favorite.
Could a dream managerial appointment be on the cards for Monaco as they go after their former player, Thierry Henry, currently, of course, with Belgium, heavily linked with Aston Villa, Paul? Is this a better fit for him?
Yes, absolutely. Look, there's no doubt that he wants to get into management. He was touted to be, when Brucey was getting so-called sacked in the summer, he was touted to get the Villa job. That didn't transpire. Look, there's no doubt in my mind that he's gone through all his badges, been working with Belgium, you know. I think he's ready. He wants to make the step into management. I think he's ready. If you look at Nice, if you look at what's happening down there with Vieira, you know, he's under the radar a little bit, not under too much pressure. I think this is a perfect little spot for him.
Monaco struggling at the moment, point
Yeah.
off the foot of the table.
Yeah.
Leonardo Jardim, things have gone from bad to worse for him as they've had a lot of squad overhaul.
They're gonna have to have more.
It's a big job, isn't it, for
Yeah.
Henry?
Well, Falcao up front and Jovetic up front, that's basically all they've got. And you know, let's face facts, when Falcao was in the Premier League, he was absolutely dreadful. So I dread to think what he's like now. They've got some very, very young players that they can bring in, but that's not the way to go. Thierry Henry's got to have some, I would guess, a 3-year contract at least. He's got to have some assurances from the powers that be. Otherwise, he won't be taking this job. I think it's a nice step for him, I really do.
When we see these former players, obviously Premier League names in the last 15, 20 years, the likes of Gerrard and Lampard come to mind, Thierry Henry, is there a case that sometimes these jobs seem preordained or the players seem preordained for the jobs? They don't have to go through the hoops that other managers do?
To a certain degree, yeah. But you've got to remember that the lads do go through all the courses, or get all the badges, so they're not just coming in blind. They, you know, what you do, you go and get the badges, and then you look back at the type of manager that you want to be, the type of manager that impressed you when you were working. Take a little bit from him, a little bit from there. So I don't begrudge players coming in you know, because they're so. It seems as though they just on you go, boys, because of what you did your playing record. That's not strictly true. So you need to get your feet wet at some point, and I think Monaco for Thierry Henry is perfect.
Okay, we'll see if it remains to be a perfect fit for him. Sources close to the situation suggesting that Henry could be making the move to the south of France. We'll see how he gets on if he does. How long should Kylian Mbappe stay at PSG? Antoine Griezmann, his French international teammate, suggesting, Paul, that he's like Cristiano Ronaldo was at Manchester United back in 2003, stayed for a few years, had success there. Does Mbappe have to do the same, or does he have to move now? And is that going to be the biggest move of his career if he does?
Look, what he's done this season, I mean, at his tender age of 19, is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, scoring goals in the World Cup, scoring goals in the final, winning the World Cup. I mean, it's the way he does it, the way he plays, that explosion. I understand that Griezmann, he wants him to be a little bit more selfish in the final third. You've got to get a balance with that. When you look at who he's playing with Neymar and Cavani, and at 19, he's probably looking for Cavani and Neymar, but I think what Griezmann's trying to say to him is that, look, you're the top man, you're your own player, try and get a little bit higher up the park and you know, score more goals. The world is this lad's oyster. I mean, he's fast becoming, I think, everybody's favourite player because of the way that he plays the game. Has he got to move from PSG? 100% yes, he does. He's got to go to Barca or Real Madrid. Apparently Man City, Pep said that was in for him, he's not in for him, so that'll be interesting to see how that develop. I think that would be a fantastic move if he went to City. But there's no doubt, I mean, the world's at his feet.
The change that you're talking about, maybe becoming a bit more of a focal point, a bit more selfish, playing more centrally, is that something he has to do now before he gets that move, or is that something you expect to develop?
I think you develop it. I think, look, there's no doubt that he can do a good job in the 9 position. I've got no doubt about it because he's got the threat in behind. He's got fantastic touch. You know, when his first touch comes in, he gets respect. You can't close him down. He'll blast past you. If you stay off him, he'll find the pass. So, a little bit Messi-esque in that regard. But I know we're quick to move people on. We're quick to get players into a different position. But look, there's no doubt. Playing in League, I don't think anybody gets the same respect. If PSG are absolutely flying in that league, they don't get the respect. It's the Champions League, and with Mbappe, it's going to be where's that next move to either Real Madrid or Barcelona or whoever. Is it going to be Manchester City as champions of Europe this season? Maybe, maybe not. Is it Liverpool? Who knows? But it's going to be a lot of money. But there's no doubt this guy is going to be incredible football.
And very briefly, his form, Ballon d'Or winner for you?
Yeah. I mean, you're scoring in World Cups, you're 19 years of age, you have a fantastic World Cup, and you win the World Cup. What else can he do? I mean, won the title with PSG, so what? Who's bothered? But it's what he did with France. He was unbelievable.
Yep, 5 trophies won already this calendar year for Mbappe, one of them the World Cup. Of course, he scored in the final. We can't wait to see what's next for this talented teenager. It's the return of the UEFA Nations League, and we've got 5 big games to bring you as part of our predictor. Paul Mariner joins me to go head-to-head. Let us know what you think about this one. Poland and Portugal, both unbeaten so far in the group with Italy.
Yeah. Poland have been struggling to score goals. Portugal have been actually quite good defensively. They don't give many away. So I'm going to go draw.
I'm with you, actually. I think that without Ronaldo, Portugal might struggle to find the back of the net, but I do like Andre Silva, so we'll see how they get on enemy territory, see if Lewandowski can get it going a little bit. Russia against Sweden is in League B.
Yes.
These are 2 World Cup quarter-finalists, ironically. Sweden lost their opening game against Turkey. Russia won in Turkey.
This is going to be the battle of the set pieces. They'll just be launching it in the box. I don't think there's going to be a finesse game at all. I'm going to go draw.
I'm going to go Russia.
Ooh.
I think that they have enough.
All right.
Belgium, Switzerland back in League A. Both of these beat up on Iceland in the first round of matches. How do you think it?
I think Belgium have got too much. Switzerland are improved, absolutely, but I think Belgium have got way too many weapons. So I see Belgium with a victory.
I'm with you. Even without De Bruyne?
Yep.
Croatia, England, the World Cup semi-finally.
Well, Croatia, I mean, were fantastic in the World Cup. There's no doubt about it. England, hopefully, we'll see some changes from Southgate. I hope he does. Hope he brings the kid Madison in the 10 role to be the creator. I'm going to stick my neck out and I'm going to go for the boys.
Oh my word.
The 3 Lions.
This is an important game for England, by the way.
It is,
well,
yeah, no, it is.
Defeat to Spain.
So they've got to get something out of it.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be a difficult one for them away from home. I think they will scrape a draw, but only just. Netherlands against Germany.
Well, Germany not having, things are not going the way that we expect things to go for Germany. Holland are improving, but I think they're going to get Germany at the wrong time. I'm going to go with Germany. I think Germany will beat them.
Okay, I think that's a draw as well. I think Germany just struggling at the moment.
So you're
convincing.
Okay, all right.
So we've got 3 draws on this side, 2 draws on that side. It is an exciting tournament, though. Don't let Jurgen Klopp fool you. The UEFA Nations League returns, full coverage at ESPN FC. In light of the dramatic 3-2 win over Newcastle United, a little bit of encouragement for Jose Mourinho, coming in the form of some words from his former striker, Wayne Rooney, who has let it be known that he thinks that Jose Mourinho is a bit of an easy target for criticism. This is what he had to say. The manager can do so much, but then it's down to the players on the pitch to produce. Probably, collectively, it's a bit of everything coming together, but Jose is an easy target. I know Jose's getting a lot of stick, but the players have to stand up. Where do you stand on this, Paul? He's obviously shining a light on what might be going on inside the dressing room at Old Trafford.
Yeah, well, we've been speaking about this on ESPN FC for weeks and weeks and weeks. I mean, it started in pre-season, didn't it? When he's throwing the club under the bus, throwing players under the bus, telling fans not to come to the stadium, what you're going to pay good money and watch this rubbish for, and so on and so forth. Mourinho can't seem to get his team right. He's chopped and changed the whole time. He's criticised players, takes Baye off at the weekend after 20 minutes. We thought it was going to be tactical. He put McTominay back there for a period, then he changed it again at half-time. So who knows what's going on in that dressing room? I agree with Wayne. Yeah, the players have got to earn the keep. They've got to play, but it's up to the manager to try and keep some harmony in the ranks. I mean, there's so much that comes out of Old Trafford that doesn't need to come out. I think Mourinho's just got to close his mouth, just let the players do the talking, let his work on the training ground do the talking. That's where I stand on this.
I found the reference that Rooney made to Louis van Gaal in his reign there, saying that there's some similarities here where obviously the players had to come and help the manager out. It was rather interesting because, of course, the players didn't help the manager out at all. Can you see any kind of change in mentality after that win over Newcastle, where the players will come out and say, you know, we're going to fight for this guy?
Well, seemingly at half-time there was a coming together of the minds, and players stepped up, and obviously Mourinho had his say, and it was much better. It couldn't have been much worse because the first half was absolutely dreadful. It's a wait and see. We don't really know. It's like I say, what's his back foot? Who's his two central defenders going to be? He's already made a statement with taking Baye off, basically saying you're not good enough to play in this division. I mean, it was Newcastle they were playing, by the way. They came out very, very sloppily at home, which is unusual for any. You know, you think back over the years, these have come out flying, Manchester United. Not under this manager, they don't. So I think he's just got to look within Mourinho and just say, you know what, I've probably just got to shut up for a little while and get to work on the training ground.
Of course, the international break gives a bit of time for reflection, a little bit of respite as well for Mourinho. We'll see if mentally he can come up with the goods for this Manchester United side to approach the resumption of play in the Premier League in a bit better mood.